Let's talk about birthright citizenship, a concept that sounds simple but sparks endless debate. If you're born on U.S. soil, you're a U.S. citizen. That's called or right of the soil. It doesn't matter who your parents are or how they got here. If you're born within U.S. borders, you get citizenship. This isn't a new idea. It's been a core part of American identity for over 150 years. The rule is simple. Born here, citizen here. It's meant to ensure that everyone born in the U.S. has the same claim to being American, regardless of their family's story. But as with most things in America, this simple rule has become a political flashpoint. Some see it as a loophole that encourages illegal immigration, painting images of anchor babies and birth tourism. Others defend it as a foundational principle of equality and inclusion. The debate over birthright citizenship pops up every election cycle, fueling passionate arguments about who gets to be an American. So to recap means your birthplace determines your nationality. It's designed to be automatic and inclusive, but this straightforward idea has been stretched and debated to the point of confusion. And trust me, the arguments can get just as heated as any pop culture controversy. Buckle up, we're about to dive into how this all began. To understand why America chose birthright citizenship, let's rewind to the 1800s. Back then, most countries followed citizenship by bloodline, but America, a nation of immigrants, wanted to break from Europe's old order. The real turning point was the Supreme Court's disastrous 1857 decision, which ruled that African Americans could never be citizens. This ruling exposed the contradiction of a nation founded on liberty but practicing slavery. After the Civil War and the abolition of slavery, the country faced a huge question. What about the citizenship of nearly 4 million formerly enslaved people? The decision still loomed, and it was clear that a permanent constitutional fix was needed. The answer would come in the form of a game-changing amendment. America needed a new definition of citizenship, one not based on ancestry but on place. This set the stage for a fundamental shift in American law. Enter the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment, ratified in 1868, is the backbone of birthright citizenship. Its key line, "All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, are citizens." The goal was clear: grant citizenship to formerly enslaved people and prevent future courts from taking it away. By tying citizenship to birthplace, the amendment rejected the old European model and aimed for a more inclusive America. The phrase, "subject to the jurisdiction thereof," is the heart of today's debate. Some argue it excludes children of undocumented immigrants, but history and court rulings say otherwise. The original intent was to exclude only children of diplomats and certain Native Americans. The 1898 Supreme Court case confirmed that anyone born in the U.S., regardless of their parents' status, is a citizen. The court clarified that subject to the jurisdiction means being subject to U.S. laws. This landmark case cemented birthright citizenship for children of immigrants. The 14th Amendment's language and intent remain the legal foundation today, and that's why the debate continues. So how does birthright citizenship work today? For most, it's automatic and routine. A baby born in a U.S. hospital gets a birth certificate, the key to citizenship, a social security number, a passport, and the right to vote. The law doesn't ask about the parent's immigration status. Birthplace is what matters. That's why the U.S. is one of about 30 countries granting citizenship by birth. This policy creates mixed-status families, children who are citizens, parents who are not. These families face tough realities. Citizen kids have rights, but their parents may live in fear of deportation. The system also leads to birth tourism, where some travel to the U.S. just to give birth. While real, birth tourism is often exaggerated in political debates. Estimates suggest tens of thousands of such births yearly, a tiny fraction of the nearly 4 million U.S. births. Still, the practice fuels arguments that the system is being exploited. For most Americans, though, birthright citizenship is a quiet, uncontroversial fact of life. It's a policy with profound effects on families, communities, and the nation's identity. The debate is less about paperwork and more about what it means to be American. And that's why it remains a lightning rod in politics. The system's simplicity is both its strength and its source of controversy, and the arguments on both sides are fierce. Let's look at the arguments for keeping birthright citizenship. First, it's in the Constitution. The 14th Amendment and the Supreme Court's ruling in Wong Kim Ark are clear. Supporters say changing this would require a constitutional amendment, not just a new law. They argue it prevents a permanent underclass of stateless people. Imagine millions born here but denied citizenship. That would create a divided society, at odds with American ideals. Birthright citizenship also helps with social cohesion and assimilation, telling children of immigrants, "You belong here." It fosters loyalty and patriotism, integrating newcomers into the nation. Denying citizenship risks alienating large groups and creating resentment. Supporters see it as a moral statement. America is about equality and opportunity, not bloodlines. It reflects the nation's highest ideals and rejects old-world aristocracy. Ending it, they argue, would betray what makes America unique. For them, birthright citizenship is a cornerstone of an inclusive, forward-looking nation. Now, the case for changing birthright citizenship. Critics argue it's a magnet for illegal immigration. Automatic citizenship for a child is a powerful incentive to cross the border. The term anchor baby comes from the idea that a US-born child makes it harder to deport undocumented parents. Opponents focus on the subject to the jurisdiction clause, arguing it was never meant to cover children of those here unlawfully. They see the Wong Kim Ark decision as a misreading of the Constitution. Critics also worry about national sovereignty. Citizenship, they say, should be earned, not automatic. Birth tourism is cited as an abuse, with wealthy foreigners buying citizenship for their kids. Opponents argue this devalues citizenship and burdens taxpayers with costs for healthcare, education, and welfare. For them, ending birthright citizenship is about legal principle, sovereignty, and fiscal responsibility. They see reform as necessary to protect the meaning of being American. Let's put faces to the debate. Take Maria, born in California to undocumented parents. She's a citizen, went to school, became a nurse, and gives back to her community. Supporters see her as proof that birthright citizenship creates loyal, productive Americans. Without it, Maria would have lived in the shadows, unable to fully participate in society. Opponents, though, see her parents' story as evidence that the system rewards breaking the law. They argue her family's access to education and services is a taxpayer burden and an incentive for illegal immigration. Then there's birth tourism, families spending big to have a child in the US, then leaving with a passport. Critics call this a clear abuse. Supporters say changing the law to stop a few would harm millions like Maria. These stories show the real-life stakes, far beyond legal theory. The debate is about people, not just policy. Why is birthright citizenship still a hot topic in 2025? It sits at the crossroads of immigration, national identity, and the rule of law. The debate is a proxy for bigger questions. Who gets to be American? What should the country look like? It flares up during immigration crises and is used by politicians to rally supporters. For some, automatic citizenship for children of immigrants feels like a threat to traditional identity. For others, it's a defense against exclusion and a statement of pluralism. Changing the rule would instantly create millions without a path to citizenship, reshaping the nation. That's why the stakes are so high. This isn't just a legal issue, it's about the very definition of American citizenship. So what have we learned? Birthright citizenship was created to fix a historic injustice and build a more inclusive nation. It's automatic, simple, and has shaped millions of lives. But it's also created complex realities. Mixed status families, birth tourism, and fierce debate. Supporters see it as a constitutional guarantee and a force for equality. Opponents see it as a loophole that encourages illegal immigration and devalues citizenship. Both sides believe the future of the country is at stake. The debate forces us to ask, is being American about birthplace, blood, or ideals? The answer shapes the nation's future. So, what do you think citizenship should mean?